Alright, welcome to Azure Infinitum Podcast. This is your host from Azure Infinitum, Reika Fujishima, also known as Hikaru Kazushime across the net. And with me here today is Lieutenants Rakvasha and Defensor here from Azure. Welcome, guys.
Hey, happy to be here. I'm not
Hi.
feeling sick this time.
Are you sure?
yeah, well, I'm not feeling that sick this time.
It's starting to get warmer these days. It's been pretty hot over here. Heat advisory limits, warnings. What did I say? Limits. Going off here in Sacramento, California. Here in sunny Cali. I think. Wow, yeah, I think all four. Well, Major's not here right now, but between the four of us, we're like nearly in the four corners. I think, or three corners of
Yeah.
the country.
Defensor's not too far from me, so
Okay.
Midwest gang.
Yep. So you got two East Coasters.
Central time zone supremacy.
Two Centrals
No.
and two Pacifics.
No, I'm Eastern actually.
Oh, you're Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe in that
why
make
did I
believe
think you were
Central time zone.
Make believe. Oh my gosh.
So for anybody who knows about Indiana, we actually have two time zones in our state. And so if I drive a certain distance to the north of me, I am now in Central. But if I then go east from there, I go back into Eastern. And so we call Central like the made up time zone because I can drive straight north and hit Central, straight south hit Eastern, and I can just go
Wow.
back and forth between time zones.
Oh my gosh.
So
You time traveler,
for
you.
yeah, for instance, if a place closes at say 10 o'clock Eastern, but 9 o'clock Central, if they're in both locations, I can still make it to one if the other is closed.
Oh my gosh.
If one's closed,
Wow.
I can still make it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we call it make believe here because we're like that time zone doesn't exist.
That's
It's all
fun.
Eastern.
That's pretty cool. So that would be, let's see. So between Central and Eastern, that's just 1 hour. So yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say because like you could technically, if you like say there's a movie you really want to see, but you miss it, you could go see half of it, not the whole thing on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. We get people that come to the businesses in our town and they're like, oh yeah, you guys still serving, like if we go to McDonald's, are you guys still serving breakfast? We're like, no, but if you go this far northwest, you can still make it.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
That's actually handy. That's convenient. Especially because you mentioned breakfast. My first thought was like how awful it is when you really want McDonald's in the morning, and you like an hour late.
Yeah.
Well, we are 20 days away from Dawn Trail Early Access launch, and 18 days from servers going down for maintenance. What are you guys going to do during the 48-hour maintenance that's coming?
Cry.
Cry.
With excitement.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. It's almost here.
Play some of my many games.
There's so many games to play.
Good answer because yeah, we've all got them backlogs. And those backlogs are about to get bigger because later in the show we're going to talk about the Summer Games Fest and a little bit of other exciting stuff going on. Yesterday, as of this recording, Saturday, June 8th, we had a lot of stuff announced last night, as well as more to come tomorrow, June 9th. But we'll talk a little bit about that more later. Also, before we move on and get sidetracked with our many topics and fun that we're about to have here, actually, we're already having fun, aren't we? Do want to
Always.
take a moment and just give a shout out to the memorial and the awesome individual that we lost. May he rest in peace. Talon Silvermane, also known as Tremedius Alond, or Tremday in other games. Um, just a shout out to Trim and how awesome he was. One quick final shout out since we had the amazing memorial and very grateful for everybody who came. We did an awesome in-game march from our FC hall, where Talon has called home since 2015, and went up and chose the Harshafont grave. Minor spoiler. And we marched there. Lots of friends and old comrades of his. Nice way to honor him. Just
Yeah.
grateful for everybody that showed up. It really turned out beautiful. It was a beautiful moment we all shared. So since that happened, since the last episode, just wanted to take that moment and say thank you, Talon, one more time here.
Yep. And thank you to everybody from other games who showed up for the occasion, because there was
Oh, 100%.
so many people that came from outside of the Final Fantasy community that
Yes.
actually got into Final Fantasy just so
Yep.
they could come there to that event, and that was
These
beautiful.
guys were awesome. They came from City of Heroes, like back in the day with him. They've stayed connected with him all this time, and it was like coming into 14 just to join that with us, and I mean that was just like wow, like that's really the beauty of it, when you see what we do here brings people together with these games, and it's not just us, but gaming communities in general can be a really positive, beautiful thing like that. And so just having that chance to remember our dear friend in that way, and with everybody as one, that was definitely a memorable moment. Definitely. So, um, we are just entering the second week of June now. That means a lot of people across the board between the FF14 community and more. Destiny 2's got its expansion that came out. Apparently, reviews are off the charts. A lot of people are saying mostly good things about it. ESO Gold Road came out, which we talked about last time as well a little bit. SOTOR's new patch, PSO2's new update. It's a crazy month for games, with game industry pretty much going ham on game shows, not game shows, but shows related to revealing, game trailers, world premieres up the wazoo, and expansions like crazy coming out all over the place, with the grand finale at the end of the month, FF14 Dawn Trail. I know you guys are excited. I'm pretty excited, but you know what? I haven't. I've kind of been thinking about it, but trying not to get excited yet because I've been trying to really focus on other things. For me, I've been getting a lot of like unpacking done IRL. Just doing some other stuff. Completely redid my desk. Set up new computer. Lots of other new equipment. Getting a lot of plans done. We've talked about previously for Azure, and just get everything locked in. Just be able to get that chance to enjoy the expansion at its fullest and be completely organized and ready to go. So pretty soon, all that's gonna be good for me, and then I'll be able to kind of sit back and just you know be uncontrollably excited. And do you guys did either of you or anybody that's watching did you guys check out the second benchmark that came out?
Yeah, I tried it out.
Yeah,
Uh, to be honest, I did not notice any differences.
you didn't.
Didn't notice much
Oh,
of a difference now.
okay.
No, Maybe it's just because the race I play is already perfect. So,
Bro.
That's a good answer.
And the race that I'm currently playing is the worst.
And
So
that's
I
for those listening. What is that, Defensor?
it's Ara.
Okay.
and Lala fell here, obviously. So
Are you gonna switch back, Rack?
I will be actually. Once Dawn Trail
Back to Miko?
drops, I was planning on going Femgar,
Hmm.
female Hrothgar.
Hmm.
However, I'm glad they're changing Fantasia because every
Yeah.
time I look, I've wanted to be a female Hrothgar since I was a male Hrothgar, like years ago.
Uh-huh.
But every screen cap that I've seen of the female Hrothgar that they've come out with, I've been like, ooh, I'm not sold on this. I'm not sure because
Really?
they have very they have very
What is it? Oh,
feline
okay.
faces,
Yeah.
super pronounced feline faces, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, like it makes sense. But if it doesn't fit my glams, I'm glad those Fantasias are gonna allow me to go right back to Miko.
Yeah, and that's actually a really wonderful addition or change to the Fantasia system, given the fact that you have this item that allows you to remake your character in whatever way you want, including the race, from scratch. And then there's a timer where you can go back and you can log in after doing that and go, maybe this isn't for me. And you can actually go back and do it again. Where before it was like another $10 to change it. So
Yep.
that is definitely a welcome change coming in Dawn Trail. So people can definitely try things out a little easier. And if you get a Fantasia for a veteran reward, don't you? I believe you do, along with the one of the I think the early era collector's edition, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there
You
are some
also you
people.
got one when Alra were released too.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yep.
yep. So yeah, so possible Fem Rothgar change for you.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm looking forward to it, and if it doesn't work out, like I know I've got perfection to fall back on. Not
yep.
Aura, of course, but Miko.
See, Darn Isle, our scout here joining us, and oh, I see Defensor. I was actually zoomed in, so I didn't see you. Nice
Yeah,
mount there, Defensor.
you're
See,
both sitting in the floorboards for me, so I can't see you.
really? Oh my gosh. Well, looks like you finished Alo Alo Island in time. You got your ferry going on there.
Yep,
That's a
I
that's
got
a
this.
big ferry.
He is very It's a dick. It's just a real dick.
Okay.
That's how I
If
felt
you do
about
the fight, you'll understand.
Okay.
that's how
I
I felt
haven't
about the
explored that
Lopods.
one just yet. I was working on the Silda Subterrane because that came out during a time that I was very busy, including Mount Rokon. So just been putting them off for a little bit, but I was going to do this. I don't know if I'll actually complete all the paths on all three of those before Dawn Trail, but we'll see. I'll give
Yeah. Well, if you get a
Darn Isle a
group
good
to just
whipping.
to do them all, you can get them done in a few hours.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You just got to follow the guide.
it's highly likely given that we've got a good FC here. So I did notice some differences with Benchmark 2 for Dawn Trail. I definitely like the shadowing better because there was just a slight change to Reika, my character, my Mikote, that just felt a little off. Like I could have dealt with it if they would have stuck with it. I would have been fine. I'd have been like, okay, yeah, I'll deal with this. But uh, with the new one, because they did do a lot of like shading work, it just feels like the brighter parts are brighter in the shading on the face with especially at certain angles. Some angles actually didn't seem like they were that different, but some did. So I put some screenshots in our Discord screenshot channel just to kind of like show the parts or the angles, I guess, of Reika that I did feel looked better, including that zoom in shot with the smile on the boat. I felt like that looked a little bit better. Um, First one to me felt a little washed out and like everybody just looked like older, but like not in a bad way. Just like well, I can't say less cartoony because the game is somewhat like a mix of cartoony and realistic at the same time. But just I don't know. How do I describe that? It was a change and a addition of a dose of realism that that looked good but needed just a little bit refining. And I noticed that if you kind of just tab through the differences really quick, like back and forth, it's really small, really slight, but it's there. So for me, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the change. I at first, I think you know what's really funny. My biggest pet peeve about the first benchmark was the eyeliner did not show up as much, or the eyeshadow was not dark enough on my character, and I give her the third option over on the eye paint with the darker setting, and I choose black. And when I do that with her eye shape, it actually makes it look like she has a somewhat unique eye shape. So zooming out a little bit, like it looks pretty good, and it just didn't show hardly at all. It looked like she was almost wearing like no makeup whatsoever, and I'm like, okay, that is Reika, but like it's like slightly less Reika than Reika. So I'm a bit more confident in the new one now. It just felt a little bit more like her. But moving on from that, so that came out. Do you guys hear the new field operation has a name now? That's the Eureka Baja place. It's Shades Triangle.
Yeah.
That was revealed with the Dawntrail official site update that came out. When we planned to talk about that, it was actually like the day after or the night after that was like released. But I know more people have had a chance to discover that information now. But it really makes me wonder because I think, well, I don't know. It was hard to tell with Eureka, but it's probably going to just be like 100% all new, not referencing anything type content, or it could be something that does. But I've been racking my brain to think of like FF lore that could possibly relate to a Bermuda Triangle situation. And it really makes me wonder. For some reason, there's something tugging at my brain related to Final Fantasy V and Ferris and the Sildra, but other than that, I can't remember what it was about that. Could just be off there, but those listening now or later on when this is uploaded to YouTube, please comment. Let us know if you have any theories or any ideas on what Shade's Triangle could be like. But we do know it is a field operation, so um, we would probably expect to see that around what, like 7.2 maybe the first part of it. You
Yeah,
guys,
most
you
likely.
think
Yeah.
so? Yeah. Yeah, because I got to get FF11 Part 1 and Arcadian Part 1 out of the way. And they never did
Yep.
relics on the point 1 patch, so not that I remember. I don't know. It's remembering
I mean,
10 years accurately is starting to get a little
right.
hard
Yeah,
at
usually
this
they come
point.
out about the 7.2, 7.3 range
Yeah.
usually. Because relics for them are considered like end game content and grindable content.
Yeah.
And as we know from the Final Fantasy devs and community, everybody wants to grind that story. They want to experience that story before they have to worry about all of the gearing up and the relics and
Hmm.
so they usually hold that stuff off because it's not as important to the community as a fully fleshed out, amazing storyline. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I know that the feedback they got from Endwalker not having anything like that was really strong. So
oh
Yoshi has
yeah,
commented a few times on how he's commented on two things that I actually think may be, in my opinion, this is the community and mine, community as in all of 14. From what I've heard, what I've seen, my idea here is that the two most controversial and most like wish listed for better things in Dawn Trail thing topics is one, field operation, which we know we're getting now, and two, the fact that the game just feels like it keeps getting easier. Now, before I get people jumping down my throat saying like, "Oh no, you're just one of those guys that just wants everything to be hard like Final Fantasy 11,"
yeah, but I mean, you'd be right.
it's really like I've been saying that since Heaven's Word, and there was little changes that started back then, just little tiny changes, and then like Stormblood, and then from that point I was like, oh man, what is going on here? Because ARR was not hard by any means, but there was like this, oh crap, like feeling in your gut when you were like realizing how much you had to farm for Atma, or like how challenging Garuda X was for the first time. Like
Hmm.
you felt the desperation in society in game for wanting to get through those things, knowing that that wasn't even the hardest content. Like Coil, Savages, other stuff like that's out there, and it's not even that. It's like this is like just regular stuff. Like, does anybody feel that desperation in a dungeon anymore? Heck no. But we did back then because there were some dungeons that were like actually kind of like if you weren't paying attention, you would wipe a few times.
Yep.
You
And
know,
now when you go into a brand new dungeon, you pull wall to wall and you call it good.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah. You don't even
yeah.
like need to look it up before going in. You could just open up. I mean, like okay, like Lapis Manalis, like there's a big healer check in there in the mid boss, to remove the thing. There's whatchamacallit, Ham Island or whatever, or Ham.
Hmm.
That right there, that's like one of the most easiest pieces of cake in the game. Like you
Yep.
just turn your brain off and go, and it's like I don't know about you guys listening or you guys here with me, but like I'm kind of tired of that. Like to me, it's like it can be a beautiful scenery, it can be awesome music, it can be like the next chapter of the story, but I'm just gonna be like yawning my way through it if it's there's not some kind of like, hey, you really gotta like pay attention at this point or else, Like I want the party to like have that chance to potentially wipe, not because the people in the party are incompetent, but because like there's actual real crap going on that could
Real
be
mechanics. Yep.
detrimental. Yeah, just that balance is what's really important. It's really
Hmm.
really important. And Yoshi did mention he's like, yeah, come to think of it, we have been making the game easier for a long time, so let's bring some of that challenge back. And I'm like, yes. Then he's like, let's bring group based challenge back, and I'm like, yes, double yes, double yes. So then field operation, of course. So I really hope that Dawn Trail is like that expansion that is like the reassurance expansion, like we haven't gone soft expansion, that the devs are creating it as a message to tell us like, hey, you can trust in us, we heard you during Endwalker, we're glad you stuck with us during Endwalker was our production during the pandemic following the final Shadowbringers days, and we did our best and you stuck with us and we heard you and here you go. Like, you guys kind of feel similarly or no?
I'm hoping that. So I'm kind of hoping that the whole ARR to Endwalker wasn't their magnum opus. I hope it wasn't the one thing that they're defined by, and then they have to they feel
Mm-hmm.
like they're chasing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really hope that Dawn Trail is that breath of fresh air that everybody's hoping for, that they're hoping
Mm-hmm.
for, and not just something that feels new but the same old content. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
agree. When you're running through a dungeon and you can pull wall to wall and you're not having a problem healing, you're not having a problem with mechanics, even
Mm-hmm.
on like I want to see mechanics on trash mobs. I
Yeah.
want to see people dodging. Um I have felt that, and I know it's not going to change, but I have felt that tanking in Final Fantasy XIV has been too easy for years.
Yeah.
I would love to see more bosses that have mechanics that ignore aggro meters
Uh-huh.
and target specific areas or target specific jobs. Um, so it only goes for healers during this
You
one
mean
phase.
rules?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
only goes for like healers during this phase, only goes for, DPS, something like
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Yeah.
So it gives them something to do rather than everybody just kind of hitting and then like, oh, step out of the circle real quick. Now
Mm-hmm.
step back in and DPS. It's like
Yeah.
we've seen those mechanics so many times. I want something new. I want something fresh and challenging.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And the other thing too is one, my as far as like I mean we could probably talk a million things on our Dawn Trail wish list, but my I gotta name two things here. I really hope that, and I'm gonna blame the pandemic again on this, but I really hope there is some nice new gear that's not just a recolor of old gear for
mm,
all the like leveling up through 80 to, I mean, sorry, 90 to 100 gear. Just give us something that's not like old PvP or raid stuff recolored. Give us some actually new gear. Also, please stop reskinning and coloring like the same enemy wireframes all the time. Like make a few new ones and throw them in the batch because I've already saw like this giant beetle guy that is literally Ultima. And when I look at it, I just think of like Ultima and it's just distracting like seeing the same thing used over and over again. Of course they can do that. Like all games like tend to pretty much do that, especially all Final Fantasies. You can go back to the oldest ones and just see like, two squirrels that are two different colors, but one's stronger because it's a silver and not brown or whatever. But at the same time, yeah, referring to the Nutkins of Five, they're terrifying. Um,
I
but
swear, I see one more reskin of a Malboro, I'm out.
yeah, I mean,
It's
like
like in every expansion right now.
I'm not out, but like
You know
I
what I
will
mean?
sigh so heavily that I might knock myself out. Um,
Yeah, it's rough.
it's just like, come on, and like I'm not, and by no means are we saying anything bad, like bad about the game or anything like that. It's just like we want to be able to like criticize it as well as love it,
Hmm.
and because we love it, that's why we criticize it. But that is definitely like something I wanted to call out because it's like, come on, like they've like I could see if they want to make and they've been really creative with their designs and reusage of assets, like super creative. Like this is probably like the biggest example of recycling assets in gaming because of the way they took 1.0 and then made it into 2.0 and then recycled so much and then made new and then recycled even the new from like the first expansions like onward. Great example. Like it's kept it fresh almost the whole time, but there was so much reused in like the most recent expansions. So hoping there's a lot of just fresh looking stuff in general.
Oh yeah.
Really, really hoping for that. So, um, yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add on that, or
So I yes,
yeah?
I really hope at this point that Dawn Trail actually steers away from, and I'm not sure if this is a spoiler. I don't, it shouldn't be at this point. The whole ASEAN
Uh huh.
concept.
Right.
Um, as much as I enjoyed it's like the ASEAN arc and all of
Uh
that
huh.
stuff and all the previous expansions, I really hope that Dawn Trail just completely leaves them out. Like I hope they're done for real,
Mm-hmm.
for sure, and I don't have to like see the ASEANs come back, see any part of that. I need everything that is done in Dawn Trail to be, or not everything that was done in Endwalker to be done with Endwalker, like they hope. What I'm afraid of with Dawn Trail is that certain aspects that have affected the world have quote unquote made their way also to places with Dawn Trail, and
Mm-hmm.
then I have to
Still hear about
connect.
Asians.
Yeah, and I have to connect the two. I don't want to connect the two at all, except for my main character going to save another place.
Mm,
Like I am looking for something so fresh that I can't. I don't even look at it and go, oh my gosh, this is still 14. I want to look at it as like, oh my gosh, this is a brand new game. This is a new world for me.
that's gonna be
Um,
hard with the same like Scions and everybody, though.
yeah, but I would love to just see, other than obviously the main characters and the scions, like you said, like something so fresh that it just catches me off guard, where I'm not going like, oh, this big bad's back, you know?
Oh, you know what? There was a oh shoot, I forgot which publication, but there was a Japanese magazine that did an interview this morning, I believe with Yoshi, and they were talking about I think they were talking about the media tour, and they were talking story, and something got shared this morning. And it's only noon where I'm at, so I'm talking like within the last few hours. This was shared that two of the scions in the beginning of Dawn Trail commit a serious atrocity that actually like pisses off all the other scions. So something
Good.
like dark is going to happen, even though it's like very optimistic looking expansion. But
Good. I want it to be
yeah,
dark. I want it to look so lighthearted at the beginning, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
yeah.
I love it. I
I
love
have a good
Terral.
feeling
I
that's
love
where it's
everything
going to
about it.
go. Yeah,
And then I want it to go downhill so fast
yeah.
in the feelings that I'm swept away. And I don't even catch my feet until I'm at the end and I'm like, wait a minute, that was the expansion? Holy crap, that was amazing.
So
That's what I want.
yeah, Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I do think that there might be just a tiny little teaspoon of past stuff because you can kind of can't erase like what's happened in the history of that world. So
Right.
there was one piece of artwork I saw that looked like Altima's crest. Altima is a Ashian that has almost not even been mentioned at all throughout the whole story, but does exist. And I'm wondering if
Fine
that
by
has
me.
something to do with whatchamacallit, Solution 9, because it was in
Mm-hmm.
Solution 9 where I saw that. And we talked before, I think, in the previous episodes that we've recorded about like theories for like why Solution 9 is so drastically different and how it could possibly be another shard. Because of that area called Heritage Found, it could be another shard, like trying to find their heritage, the source. Obviously, the source would be the heritage of another shard or another reflection world. Um, but what you were saying earlier about Ashians returning and all that stuff, and I mean, pretty much like I think the fact that like it's really been put out there that Endwalker was supposed to be or was the ultimate finality to the story since the beginning. That 99% of it's probably definitely 100% in a new direction, continuing from Endwalker. It is continuing from Endwalker, but it is also a new thing on its own. So
And I'm hoping that sticks to that so hard
I
that
think it will.
I just
I think it will. I'm
oh
pretty positive. I'm pretty positive, except for the fact that like maybe a flashback of like remembering where a certain person told you at the end of Endwalker, like, hey, you still haven't explored this and you still haven't explored that. Maybe a
yep,
flashback of that person. You know who I'm talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe something like that. And like if we go, oh, Ultima the Ashian, and this isn't the Ultima stuff isn't a spoiler because it's just like completely theorizing, just
yep,
based off of artwork I saw. But
theoretical.
but say Ultima like had something to do with it, like it could that Ashian could be like long dead or something. They just
Mhm.
mention it for a second. Like I'd be fine with that too.
Yep,
But there is probably definitely has to be like more big bads out there than just the ancients.
yep,
So because what they were dealing with a long time was their long-winded plight, but like there has to still be like other bad things we don't know about. Otherwise, there wouldn't be more story. So
yeah. And I'm
yeah.
super I'm super excited for this just because ever since like 1.0, this is the only time that they've started a story that has been separate from everything else. Like other than
Oh
the
yeah, like
original
100%.
launch,
Yeah.
because
Uh huh.
everything has built upon each other from even before Realm Reborn, really, because the original launch of 14 built into a Realm Reborn. That's how they
Right.
described the Cataclysm.
Yeah.
And then it built into ARR, it built all the way up. So this is their first time to come back with a fresh story that isn't something building on something else. So it's got my
Yep.
brain so excited just to
Yeah.
see that. Which is why I hope it's so separate
Yeah.
and it's so new that I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
please, like you haven't done this in like a million years. I
Yeah.
understand, but please.
And I mean, like they set up Ashians in 1.0 as well, so it really does go back like a long
hmm
ways. I mean, literally the only thing now connecting to the previous story was just the fact that like that transition from newfound adventure to now to growing light was just that transitionary period into the new story. So the new narrative definitely has a lot to work with. There's all these shards to work with. There's a lot of things that could be, we'll probably work our way up to like the next, universal sized bad thing and then defeat that in 8 more years.
Right.
Yep. So, we are a little over half an hour into our episode here. Gonna move on. Lots of Dawn Trail hype. Obviously, we're gonna probably mention it again, talking about Azure plans here just a little
Yeah,
bit.
we could go on for hours,
Oh,
honestly.
we
We
definitely
could.
could. Yeah, we 14's our number one
Hype is
team,
so real.
so and the hype is enormous. So yeah. You still with us, Steph? I think you had to go do something.
Hit dog
Okay.
aggro.
Yep. So let's see here. Okay, so let's talk about some other really exciting things going on in games. I know it's a little hard with how hyped we are for Dawn Trail, but real quick here. Now it is over a week and a half old, maybe even 2 weeks old. But I just wanted to quickly run down some highlights from Sony's State of Play that were pretty exciting. Given the fact that God of War Ragnarok is finally coming to PC, it's good for PC people who love the series. There is a new look at Until Dawn that came out. Also pretty neat. Looks really good.
Silent Hill 2. Silent
Yep.
Hill 2.
There you go. Yep. Yep. Silent Hill 2. Path of Exile 2. That's another 2 that for those that like the Path of Exile game, it's pretty similar to well I know a lot of people like Diablo 2 like Path of Exile 1. So Path of Exile 2 looks pretty good. Monster Hunter Wilds, we got a new trailer for. Actually, we got 2 new trailers because we got the State of Play announcement and then we got the one from last night. I don't know if you played Monster Hunter Rack.
I absolutely love
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter games. I've played.
Yeah, when that comes out, don't expect to see me for a while.
Yeah, really? Yeah, I could see that. When Rise, I think it was Monster Hunter Rise came out. A friend of mine bought it for my Switch.
Oh, nice.
He didn't even know that I had played Monster Hunter games. He's like, "Here, I like these games. You should play them with me." I was like, "Let's do this." We were on it. We were on it for like 2 weeks straight, nonstop.
Like, I'm ready.
Had everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Like he didn't even know. He goes, "Wow, have you played these before?" I'm like, "All of them."
Oh, he's like, you don't even know.
It's like I was going to buy this, but you bought it like 20 minutes before me.
That's funny.
Unlike you, World wasn't my first.
Right.
Yeah.
World was my first.
Well, we got Wilds. Got that trailer from State of Play, but also got the trailer yesterday too. So it's a couple looks at Wilds. Looks really nice. Direct sequel to World. It's pretty neat.
And the World hype was massive a couple weeks ago.
It was.
It was one of the most played games on Steam, and it's way older than like all of the games it was beating.
Yeah, if you think about it, yeah, it's like 6 years old now. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the recurring player base. Yeah, the recurring player base was like higher than everybody or everybody else. So like awesome.
So I got all the way to Iceborne and didn't do Iceborne. So I still want to do that one day.
I beat Fatalis the other day.
Well, you've got 20 days now.
20 days.
For the first time, I beat that stupid fat black dragon.
If anybody out there might want to play some Iceborne. Let's see here. There's a new Alien game coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what to think because sometimes they are very hit and miss.
Sometimes they're amazing, and other times they're complete flops.
Yeah.
I must have missed that. Is it alien point of view or human point of view?
Let me click this really quick.
It is human because you are once again fighting the quote unquote perfect organism, the alien.
Yep.
I like the Alien vs Predator games where you can play as either human, predator, or alien.
I was gonna say that.
This is a VR one.
Yep.
Oh, is VR? Hard pass.
Yeah. I can't do it. I get VR sickness.
Yep, that'll make me sick.
I get this just such a weird sensation in my head after like a few minutes, and then I just get sick. And yeah.
I was super excited for the new Batman game, and then I saw the VR only, and I was like, "You bastards!"
Are you talking about the new Arkham one?
Yep, Arkham Shadows.
Oh man, yeah.
It's VR only, so they yep.
That's too bad. That's really too bad.
I never used to get motion sickness until I went to Japan, and I won't get into the nitty gritty, but something happened on the way there that basically triggered motion sickness in me, and so I couldn't do any VR or anything like that afterwards.
Did you stop in Havana?
Yeah, no. It was basically just a really, really bad flight into Texas.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the landing was absolutely terrible. Clear skies, perfect time for a good landing, and apparently the pilot didn't appreciate good landings. So,
any Dynasty Warriors players here?
yeah, ever since like 3.
Dynasty Warriors Origins is coming to PS5 next year. And just got a first look at a state of play recently.
Looks like they're bringing back the create your own character thing, so that'll be great.
Yeah.
Which has been missing in the last couple. And
Yeah.
my problem, I haven't even played the last couple simply because I got so upset at the way they did items in the game. I
Uh-huh.
wish they'd go back to the system they had in Dynasty Warriors 4. I know, dating myself. Um, Dynasty Warriors 4, they had an item system where you had to play certain difficulties and certain missions to hopefully find the higher rarities of each item. So, like, if you're looking for the turtle necklace, then it adds like 50 HP, right, for the rank 1. And you can get it on easy in this particular battle. And then to get the higher rank 1, you have to go to like insane difficulty on that same battle. And you have to beat it and hopefully find it in a crate. Like, and then still beat the mission. Because if you didn't get the items. I wish they'd go back to that system rather than just like, oh, you find everything everywhere and then level it up. It's like, ugh.
You must defeat Lubu without getting hit.
Yes. Yes.
Don't
But
let
yeah.
Lubu kill a single officer.
Been there, done that a million times.
Well, shown yesterday was the new Lego Horizon Adventures, and I mean when I say Horizon, I mean Horizon as in Horizon Zero Dawn. Lego Horizon.
Hard pass
Lego
on
games.
anything Lego.
Yeah, I'm with Rack here.
I just can't get into them. Like, it's not the graphics, it's not the story. Like, they're all great. Like, the comedy.
If I had kids, maybe I'd play them more, but they seem real childish. So
they're.
I mean, yeah, their demographic is children.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Star Wars ones. I mean, I thought they were kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad. Like, they're very well done. Just not my style.
It's like clever, but like I mean, you play one, you kind of play almost all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sitting at the kiddie table for Thanksgiving when I play one of those. You know what I mean? Like, I could be sitting at the adult table playing adult games, but like, here I am with my Legos.
So this is a big question, but how about that Star Wars Outlaws?
Ooh.
I am going. I love Star Wars, but I'm not going to buy it. At least not right away.
They're
Because I was excited for Forspoken, and I'm so glad I waited on that purchase.
Oh yeah, Forspoken is now like $20, which isn't bad. Because as a video game, I mean, not bad, but kind of cringy. Dialogue is what gets me. But if you can score yourself a Japanese dub, it's totally different. It feels completely like a completely different game.
So I have a rule for my games where
Yeah.
I have to get at least 1 hour of enjoyment per dollar that I spend into the game for it to be worth it for me.
Oh, that's a really good rule.
There have been very few Star Wars games that I have been able to get a return on. Basically looking at like the total playthrough time, total time to 100%, which I hardly ever do on a game. I look at these and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make my money. But this is a good example. Some of the Resident Evil games. Resident Evil, I think it was 7 Biohazard, was like an 8-hour game, and they were charging $60 when it first came out. And I'm like, there's no return on that, and it has no replayability because everything is scripted. And I was like, oof. That's
why Homeworld 3 was fun, but not worth the full price.
So yeah, the only Star Wars game I want to play is if they remake Galaxies. Star Wars Galaxies.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought you were going to say like maybe the KOTOR remake, but
if
that ever happens.
I was thinking Jedi Academy.
No, Galaxies was so amazing because it was completely sandbox open world. Like, you could go to any planet, and if you were playing the architect job, you could build a city anywhere on any planet. You can build them for clans, for yourself. You could build cities just for players. You could be You could actually get bounties if you were a bounty hunter from players to kill other players, and then you can complete the bounties. Like, it was a completely player-driven economy.
Wow.
Yeah, completely player-driven economy. It was extremely hard to become a Jedi. It was hard to become a good bounty hunter. And there was like 12 or 13 different basically jobs that you could play. You could be like a dancer that would give buffs in like the cantinas. You could be a cantina musician. Like there was so much you could do, and they scrapped it because I guess the player base started failing. I mean, it wasn't optimized very well at all. But if they ever remade that or made something adjacent to that that was so open world sandbox that I couldn't resist it, I'd be in. Like you guys would never see me again. I'd be lost.
You know
I'll be out in space.
What hasn't been mentioned in a while, but actually looks good if you go to the website and see that it's still alive as a project. Star Wars Eclipse. You seen that?
I have
The
not.
trailer came out. Eclipse, yeah, check it out. The Eclipse looks really, really good. Looks really promising. They are, I don't know 100%, but from the way it looks like it, it does look like they're kind of promising a little bit of a sandbox experience in that. It's not, I don't think it's an MMO, but it's supposed to be a game where like you have a lot of options and almost like a Mass Effect-y like type options, but also like can be a lot of different things in that game.
Yeah. Give me Star Wars Skyrim. I'd play it.
Like
That's another Star Wars I'd do.
I kind of think maybe that's where they're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot who was making. I forgot who was making that. But it's a good developer. Let me look that up actually really quick. Star Wars Eclipse. I was looking it up earlier actually because I was. But I was gonna say real quick about Outlaws. There is a new trailer for Outlaws that actually does make it look decent. But
Quantic Dream.
Quantic Dream. Yeah, I just found it. Yeah, it's Quantic Dream making that. So Quantic Dream. They are known for the
Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
Oh.
Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain. So a Star Wars by them, basically. With that kind of style. That's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I think I could dig that.
Yeah. It may not be like I mean I don't know how much Sandbox are putting into it, but like it is supposed to be a lot of choices. But yeah. But yeah, I actually did like the new Outlaws trailer a bit more, but I don't think I'm gonna buy it for full price. There's just no way, like especially with Ubisoft wanting 140 for the complete game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so insane.
Just it being Ubisoft makes me want to wait.
Of all,
it's like the same reason I'm gonna wait for the new Assassin's Creed too.
Oh yeah.
How many parts of the game do you get for that initial payment?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: like, there's so many games. Like, it doesn't hurt to wait. Like, you could literally just work on your backlog and then buy it when it's cheaper. Like, it's no harm in that at all. But of all MMOs, the MMO New World got a expansion announcement. Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. A second expansion. They already had their first one. This is a second expansion, and it's coming to console. So that's interesting, kind of. If anybody still cares about New World,
I enjoyed New World until it
was
took
fun
too
for a
long
few
for
hours.
Content.
It's generic as hell, though.
Yeah, and it took too long for new content, and they expected their very lackluster PvP to carry the game over while they worked on that, and it just didn't.
I like to be optimistic when I see devs like still trying really, really hard to support something, you know. So maybe the console thing will do something for them, and then they can push to continue to create content. Because nobody likes to see like a game that people worked really hard on fail miserably. So it's still alive.
It could make a huge resurgence.
7 got announced last night. Civ 7 coming out next year.
Oh yeah, Civ.
On console and PC. Yep.
Yeah. And then, did you see the new trailer for Kingdom Come?
Yep. Yeah. Actually, the funny part about that, sorry, it was like a super loud car outside with its tailpipe popping. I don't know what that was coming towards me. Anyway, yeah, Kingdom. What's really funny you mentioned that, Def, is that as soon as Jeff said that on the stream, he started to say Kingdom. All the Kingdom Hearts people who were like really wanting Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement like freaked out for a second, and then he's like, Kingdom Come Deliverance. It was like, oh my god. But yeah, that looks great actually. I think it looks great.
If you played the first game and enjoyed it, I think you're really gonna like the second. Everything looks improved.
I still have it on my backlog, but it's yeah, it's nice looking, for sure. Did you play through the first one?
Yes, 6 times.
Whoa, six!
I love medieval fantasy games. Sorry.
Wow, no kidding. But is there like a reason? Like, is there like different classes or a reason to play it that many times, or like
No,
replay value of any kind, like different races or whatever?
nope.
No,
Because you can't make your own character. You are Henry.
different
You are
endings.
a white dude. I'm trying to remember. It's been like a year since I
Okay.
last beat it.
How about that?
The ending can vary depending on certain things you do, but it's more or less the same.
Okay.
Because like you can save people or let them die. You can ignore quest lines and just do the main story, which will also affect it.
So we now have a
But,
release date for Black Myth Wukong, August 20th.
Dark Souls monkeys.
Darks. I am never gonna forget that now. I'm gonna think of that every time. Every time I see that freaking game.
It's a Dark Souls style. I'm down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
Simple
it's a
as that.
Souls like where you play as Wukong.
it does
Yep.
look, it does look good. It does look good.
Hopefully, it's better than um, what was that other Chinese one?
Is it Wolong?
Yeah, Wolong.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wolong.
For a
So
while, I was
similar, but I
actually
forgot its
getting
name.
my Wolongs and my Wukongs mixed up, and I was like, wait a
Wol
second, didn't that game already come out? And I was like, oh wait, no, the monkey one still hasn't come out.
Wolong was a
Like Wolong
tragedy.
was, yeah, it was fun, but there's just so many optimization issues where it just wasn't fun to play.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially when you got invaded and they lag around you and kill you. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this will be better. I mean, there's been a lot of hype for this for a while. Um, Even since like PS5 was kind of like newer, they've been showing clips of this in development and stuff. Um, any Persona fans here?
Never played it.
The
Oh
UI
man.
gives me nightmares.
Oh my gosh.
Like the storylines look good, the combat looks good, but oh my gosh, the UI is so flashy and weird, and I
Well,
just
the UI
can't do
is
it.
extra flashy in the game I was about to mention. It's
Oh
Metaphor,
no.
Metaphor Refantasio. It's actually very different than Persona, but like it definitely has that theme and style from the same talent. But I finally got a release date. It's October 11th this year. There's a really nice collector's edition for the game, but it kind of has like a combination between medieval fantasy and like old 1800s vibe. It's kind of interesting, like and Persona. So I don't know, like
It looks very Persona-esque, yeah.
really interesting enemy design though. But there's we finally got a release date, so that's cool. And yeah, Arkham Shadow. Another big one, a big bomb that was dropped yesterday, was the world premiere for the Street Fighter
Uh-huh.
6
Oh,
DLC for M. Bison is alive again.
I got excited because I
He's
thought you were talking
back.
about a different game.
He's back.
Somehow
He's
Bison
back.
came back.
He's back somehow. Yeah, somehow he's come back. And Terry Bogard and Mai Shiranui from Fatal Fury. They are all joining Street Fighter 6. Which is actually a selling point for some people because I know some hardcore Mai Shiranui fans. But yeah, besides that, one thing that I think out of this whole list that I've been reading off here that I'm most excited about because I know there hasn't been a lot of faith in the games for this franchise for a long time, but it is a beloved franchise regardless of how many like good or bad games come out for it. But there's finally a release date and a new trailer and information on like the collector's edition and everything for Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 4, aka Sparking Zero. Um, I'm really hoping this one's good this time because a couple of the I mean Kakarot was fine, but like there's been Xenoverse good for what it was, but we have not had a Tenkaichi like game since Tenkaichi 3 on the PS2, which was the ultimate DBZ fighting game. I know there's some Budokai fans that will argue that Budokai was better than Budokai Tenkaichi, But Budokai is good for those classic fighting games, like Street Fighter style fighting games. Tenkaichi is like truly the style of DBZ, like teleporting around, blowing up planets, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm really hoping for this for Sparking Zero, or AKA Tenkaichi 4, to be good because, and the reason why it's Tenkaichi 4 is because it's part of the Sparking series. So all of the Japanese titles for the Tenkaichi games is always Sparking this, Sparking that. So this is Sparking Zero. Really hoping they do this well, and they're actually boasting the most amount of characters ever because now the whole roster from Super is getting added in, along with some other old characters that they may not ever had. So it looks super good. It looks really good. Just hoping for the best because DBZ's been up and down with its games for a minute here.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yep. Oh, and speaking of Fatal Fury, there is actually a Fatal Fury game that got announced outside of just Terry and the rest coming to Street Fighter. Fatal Fury City of Wolves is coming out early next year. Very stylish animated combat. Highly recommend checking out the trailer. It actually looks kind of cool. There hasn't been I don't think there's been a Fatal Fury game in a long time, has there? Oh man. I saw that Mecha Break game. Thought that was kind of neat. I haven't done research on it yet, but I've been wondering if it's related to Sega's Border Break, which was an old arcade game. What was the game you thought I was going to say, Rack?
Dark and Darker.
Oh, okay.
So I played Dark and Darker when it was in its first and second playtests, and before the huge controversy. But I love the game. It is a roguelike medieval BR with like D&D classes. So it's first person, and for anyone who hasn't seen the trailer or heard about it, it's a first person hack and slash style game where you can play like a fighter, a barbarian, a wizard, a cleric, all sorts of a bard, all sorts of different classes. And you are put onto a battle royale style map where it slowly shrinks, and you have to find loot as you're running through it. The difference is, it is medieval, so there's magic, arrows, melee weapons. There's skeletons that you have to fight. There's like bats. There's wraiths, all sorts of like evil creatures, as well as the players that you have to fight to get there. And the game is very punishing. It's very brutal. It's very rewarding. If you die, you lose all loot that you brought into the level, kind of like Tarkov. You lose all the loot you brought into the level, as well as everything you've acquired, because it can be looted by other players. And it is very brutal, but I lost days in that game. It was so good, and I'm glad to see that they've come out on the other side of the controversy, and they actually got a trailer at Summer Game Fest. So
yeah, there's a couple other very new, new looking IPs that I've not seen things from. A game called Unknown 9, Awakening looked interesting. Enotria, The Last Song also looked interesting. These are like
Souls-like, yeah.
Yeah. Very fantasy setting, melee action infused with magic. There was also kind of a more sci-fi, cyberpunky, well, not really fully cyberpunky, but kind of cyberpunky, game called The First Descendant shown as a free-to-play shooter that's coming out, so, that could be hit or miss. But interesting. And there's a TV show coming for Among Us, by the way.
Nice.
Great.
Hot take here. The game Goose Goose Duck is better than Among Us ever was. That's my hot take.
All right. Fair enough.
And it's free.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Any Sonic
Should have been called Duck Duck Grey Duck.
Got a new Sonic game.
Yeah.
Sonic X Shadow Generation. So, original Sonic.
Don't Google search that. Don't Google search Sonic X Shadow.
Why? Oh, well, just by itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Some interesting doujinshi or something. You never know.
Yeah, you'll see things you don't want to see.
So Sonic X Shadow Generation, or Sonic Shadow Generations, or Sonic and Shadow Generations, however you want to say that. Um, I'm guessing that it's like just like Sonic, the original Sonic Generations, but now it's including like all the levels that Shadow has been a part of over the years. So that was like the original Sonic Gen was really fun. I played it twice on 360 and PS3. Really enjoyed it because it actually like celebrated both like classic style Sonic and Sonic from like Sonic Adventure and up. I believe this is like the same thing, celebrating those eras as well, with a little bit from each game, but also with Shadow. Man, I remember when Shadow came out, and I thought he was like the coolest thing ever. I was like 11 years old, and I was like, oh, he's like a dark Sonic. It's so cool. And they had like the grind shoes and everything. That was so cool. Dune Awakening. Dune Awakening. That's the MMO, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's the MMO.
That's
Does it need an MMO?
it's a massive open world survival game.
Okay. So not.
So it's kind of like Conan Exiles.
Oh, okay.
So
I
just think
see.
that,
All right. All right.
which is also interesting because I want to fight the dragonflies.
Yeah, like when they first announced that, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so I know that if it's a good game, it's a good game, but do all like movies when movies have an MMO? Like I'm thinking of like Matrix Online and stuff like that, and I'm like, how long is it gonna survive? But if it's like that, then yeah, let's see how that turns out. Um, See, of course, there's Alan Wake 2 coming out. We already knew that existed, though. Um, there is an exciting new patch for Honkai Star Rail for those who are into that game. Can't get into it myself, but
Gotcha
There's a
games.
and there's a
yeah.
great patch coming out for Pal World.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Somehow they have not been sued yet.
Yeah.
But,
Surprised.
yeah, here's my note
Surprised.
for Dark and Darker right here. Yep. Um, And yeah, there is actually a lot more. Like we could probably talk about all these entries for a very long time. Phantom Blade Zero, that's another one that stood out to me. You guys seen that at all? Phantom Blade Zero. It was shown last year as well, so it's actually like not out yet, but closer to being out than it was last year. Dark fantasy in feudal Japan, basically. Very Bloodborne like. So I'm guessing it's another Souls like. So, and of course, tomorrow, June 9th, 2024, is going to be the Xbox Games Showcase. Um, I recommend watching even if you're not into Xbox because they're going to show stuff that's Microsoft related, which also means PC or Game Pass as well. And then PC Gaming Show, that's going to be exciting. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. Xbox Showcase is. When is that tomorrow? I didn't have a note for this one, but I had a note for the other one. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for Xbox Game Showcase. You can watch online. And like I said, PC Gaming Show is tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. All right. Um, we'd love to sit around and talk more games, as always, but we've got to start wrapping this up. Wanted to discuss just real quickly here some Wing updates, June content for Azure, some recent milestones, and Azure services, kind of all lumped into one package. Being that it's June 2024, we have Dawntrail at the end of the month, and we had two other expansions, or several, two updates and two expansions already this month, being Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road and Destiny 2 The Final Shape, both of which are doing very, very well. We also had the Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis patch or update for Part 7 of the story that came out, introducing the new Nameless City zone, which is pretty big and has a whole another chapter of the story that actually looks pretty interesting this time. And then we've also got SOTOR 7.5 patch, which came out on May 29th, bringing us the Dantooine Harvest Festival. Well, I guess it's not called the Harvest Festival. It's called the Spring Festival. My bad. Which there's some really nice guides up. If you check out Azure social media, there has been some links lately posted to the Dantooine Spring Festival on there for those that follow over there. You can also check out Azure on X or any major social media platform anytime to get links to guides, game news, just about every day, posting for all the games that we support here in Azure, as well as others. When it comes to the Azure Net articles, will also be shared over there from azurenet.com, as well as community content from AzureInfinitum.com, the community site, and the Azure Infinitum Discord. So those that share content in our community as well will sometimes also have that content shared and featured over on our social media. Some really neat screenshots, as well as maybe some stream links and some other fun stuff. We definitely want to push for having some more original Azure-made content, in the near future, aside from our podcasts or stuff we do in games. Other original articles and things like that will be a little bit more frequent, but this month will definitely be a big focus on expansion, final plans for Dawn Trail preparation for our in-game Final Fantasy XIV Free Company. We are not doing really much special for some of the wings. Like, it's kind of like we're considering it like a casual early access experience over in like SOTOR and ESO. We've got a good we've actually got a good thing going on now in SOTOR. No major events yet, but we do have about 130 members over there joining patch 7.5, and we've got our flagship established and actually have a super decked out flagship now. So if anybody just wants to pop in and see what that's like over there, let us know if you want to invite anytime by typing in our SOTOR channel. There's not really a lot of easy ways to go about it because there's no application system that we know of. but there's always somebody around that can give an invite. Our stronghold or our flagship is like really decked out now, and we are level 35 out of 50 as a guild, so we're like 15 levels away from max, getting a 14.7% daily EXP buff. Combined with the other monthly buffs, which is really neat because you can put up 2, and they don't change. You don't have to update them every day. It'll stay the same until you change it. But all the fun facilities, everything needed, Java scrap vendors, medical droids, prefab droids, everything you need is over in the Azure flagship now, which is just really, really cool. I want to thank the members who donated all that stuff, because we actually had some people who were like, wow, I want to help out this new guild in SOTOR, and it just went crazy, like giving us a hand and donating all kinds of furnishings and credits to buy buffs with and stuff. So yeah, another big shout out to them. And the Alliance over in PSO2, dormant but available to join anytime. Same goes with ESO, PS, and PC, which of course PC is doing better in terms of membership and activity than the PS1. But we are still building them both, and they are still available to join. As far as any expansion content, we have no plans for that right now with ESO. It's just, like I said earlier, kind of dormant, kind of early access-ish. And over in Destiny 2, that has definitely erupted in our Discord. Our Azure Wardens have been extremely active and enjoying the final shape every day since it came out a couple days ago. We've got people who've already cleared it on Legendary and, cleared it originally, cleared it on Legendary, and we've got lots of folks checking out the raid this weekend. I believe the world first clear just happened, I think this morning or last night. I have to double check on that, but it just happened. And it was so big that it was actually like in theaters, and people were like, watching and cheering them on. It was amazing. And what's really funny is Naoki Yoshida, Yoshi P from Final Fantasy 14. He wants the content creators and the community of 14 to come together to actually commercialize world first clears and turn it into something similar to Destiny's like world first races. So that's interesting. That's something new. Which I mean, hey, like I see the 14 dev team like being pretty smart when reaching out to like the community and content creators and stuff. Like it's definitely like um, a big aid to 14's popularity to just basically stand on not like you know the shoulders of giants, but the shoulders of giant content creators, and continue to get the game's good name out there and just build that hype within the community. So that's interesting. But yeah, seeing what they did for Destiny like reminded me of what I saw this morning from Naoki talking about that. I think that was also part of the interview. I don't know if it was Famitsu or if something else. But I have to check again what interview that was this morning. Same thing that mentioned the early Dawntrail part of Scion Betrayal or something like that. So, but back to the last week updates here. We we definitely have seen a spike in our Azure Wardens membership, which is really cool. So anybody that might be listening to this that have joined us very recently, we had a whole bunch of people come into Destiny's our Azure Wardens clan over in Destiny really fast after Final Shape went up, and of course we had our ads out there as well. So that was awesome. Welcome and glad to have you aboard our clans, um, our clan and our events that we have. And let me see if I'm forgetting anything else. Once again, shout out to Azure Social Media. Like I said, there is usually daily or every other day content posted quite a bit across all of our sites. Sometimes there are days that there's 150 to 200 posts that are made between all of them. There's about 11 or 12 different sources that we post to, and a good, I don't know, probably 11 to 15 posts per each, almost every day or every other day. So those are pretty active and can also be very, very helpful. Also had a small break recently in streaming schedule. So for anybody that might be wondering about why we went from posting event videos like almost every day to like one or two the last week or so, a lot of that just has to do with like my personal schedule as well, and just the fact that our events are actually well, this goes into my next topic. Our events are coming to a pause here really soon. I want to give at least a week to 2 weeks for our whole logistics team, which represents the scouts and up that are involved in hosting and supporting events. A little bit of a breather because we host these things mainly for our FF14 free company, but for Azure Infinitum, we host our events every day of every week for years, and we love doing it. We absolutely love doing it. But we've got to have a little tiny break right before the expansion comes out. We got to get that moment where we just have a couple weeks, so that way everybody, not only the logistics and hosts and stuff members, but also our members across our community can just like have that extra focus on everything to get ready, and also won't feel bad. I mean, just in case, like, somebody's like, oh yeah, I want to attend, but I also really want to get ready for Dawn Trail. Please continue to focus on whatever you need to do, whatever content you need to clear. We know a lot of people are clearing Endwalker and Shadowbringers at like rapid speeds to try to catch up and be ready with the rest of us. So definitely keep up the good work and pace yourself. Don't get too exhausted, please. Also stay hydrated.
Yep, Rack, make sure you get on that.
Get on what, man?
Rack.
Sorry. Getting hydrated? Yeah, that's the important part.
Yep. That and catch up to Dawn Trail. Gotta be
Yeah,
DT ready.
I'm 3 quests in to post Endwalker. So,
Oh man. Well,
yep.
you can do it though. I mean, we're
Oh, it's
talking
easy,
like
yeah.
5 dungeons and bosses, and that's about it.
Super simple.
Just don't skip the cutscenes.
The post didn't catch me. I'll put it that way. Without spoilers, the post idea of the post didn't catch me. So I was like, okay, I see where it's going. I'm not.
The idea of the post Endwalker story?
Yeah.
But you're only a couple quests in, right?
Yeah, but
So you don't know where it's going.
I saw the writing on the wall, Rika. I saw it.
Did you play Final Fantasy
You probably
IV?
read the Reddit post, haven't you, Rick?
Yeah, I did. I did play 4.
Okay,
The
so
Reddit post?
if
No,
you
I haven't
played
read anything
4,
about it. I haven't spoiled anything for myself.
okay, so just one quick thing, one quick thing. I'm going to tell you here on the podcast.
Uh-oh.
So in Newfound Adventure, which I'm assuming you're at, because you said a couple
Mhm.
questions, it takes one direction, but you don't know like what comes from that because what ends up happening in the next 4 patch stories is like a ton of stuff from 4 like dropped on you, patch after patch after patch after patch, especially with some specific entities that you're going to be encountering, and it's actually really cool, especially if you liked 4. Please don't skip it.
Yeah, I don't skip anything anyway.
Even
The
if you just
only
rush it, just like don't skip it.
the only and I might receive hate for this. The only expansion or anything that I have skipped was half of Stormblood.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
most
Yeah.
people
That's
are
fine.
not going to blame you for that. Actually, if you said
Yeah.
Shadowbringers, like we'd have an angry mob
Oh, heck
outside,
no.
and if you
No.
said Heavensward, we'd probably have a smaller angry mob outside. But
I loved every one of them but
yeah,
Stormblood.
I love Stormblood. I love them all, pretty much equally or unbiasedly. But I also like feel like Stormblood was a little deeper than what some people might have gotten. But if you don't like that style,
I
it's
love the
either
idea of Stormblood.
yeah.
Yeah. It was a bad relationship, but I was like, it's not me, it's you, Stormblood.
I also played that
And
when
so that's
that's all there was when I played it too. So I was like savoring
yeah.
it. But
Yeah, when I
yeah.
came back, I played through ARR Heavensward and I took a break and I came back when Shadowbringers came out. So I Stormblood for me didn't catch me and I knew I was going into Shadowbringers anyway.
Hmm.
So I skipped through it and I was like, okay, yeah,
Gotcha.
like it was good for what it was. I
Stormblood, you
love
could
the idea
probably
of it.
get like a summary on and still be decent. You cannot get a summary on Shadowbringers and have Endwalker hit as hard.
Oh
There's just no way.
no.
Like Endwalker would feel even weaker, like without Shadowbringers, like experienced.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Those two built up beautifully.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, so again, just so everybody in our community knows who may be listening to this now or in the near future when they or whenever when they view this video, um, our events will be going on hold, on pause until a little bit into Dawn Trail. We can't give it an exact date on that right now. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth at the coming Grand Assembly that'll be announced for this month. That was a little surprise I was actually going to mention because there's something else to go with that here in a second. But the first day that that event pause begins will be the 16th. So from the 16th on, probably about mid, probably the just to guess, like it would be probably mid July. But there's some talk out there that our first Arcadian raid is going to launch like a week into July. So if that happens, we're going to be doing day one, week one Arcadian raid clears. That's the 8-man raid series. So that might be the first one to roll back in. And then what we'll do is we will roll them back in slowly, one at a time. Maps will definitely not be available, like 99% not available, probably most likely, unless they do something different this time. Those usually appear later on when Savage drops, kind of as like a
Hmm.
duo. Um,
Even if they
maybe,
came out early
yeah.
enough, like the chances of us having like a full party of people to do them effectively and learn them
Hmm.
so early on, it's not feasible. Like everybody's gonna want to enjoy the storyline and everything else that comes with it and the raids
Yeah,
that come out.
for like the
So
first two
even if
weeks,
maps came
yeah.
out day one, yeah, there's no way that
Yeah.
we would be able to start in the first week or two, most likely.
Yeah, and I think that's great that they don't, because like you're saying, like they're going to be level 100 maps, so like unless you no lifed it during early access and somehow became like level 100 and done with the story by like the Monday of of that weekend or whatever, like right after, like you get right to June 2nd and or July 2nd and you're already maxed out and stuff, that's going to be like the only people that might even be map ready, and I don't even think they're going to be out. Um, so yeah, so maps will roll back in. I'm assuming late July or early August. That's just an assumption. So we'll definitely update when we get more news on that, and then it's going to really depend on like how many of us are available and who from our logistics team, and of the those that are on the duty roster that we keep, that are event trained and like cleared for assigned to different duties for hosting. And the reason why we're so meticulous on all that is because we like things to be uniform and we like them to be organized, and for the right people who know these events really, really well, the way we run them, will be available and have had plenty of time to enjoy the content as well, just like everybody else. So please enjoy the expansion and don't worry too much about events, but events will be rolling back in a little bit at a time. We definitely don't want to do like, 4 coming back into the week at one time. It might be like 1 or 2 for a little bit, and then it'll pick up to like 3 or 4 a week, and then it'll pick up back to like more of what we're used to. So just so everybody knows, and we will go into this again during the assembly and the assembly cast as well, after the assembly. So I had one more thing I was going to mention. Oh, yes, that's right. Speaking of the assembly, at the assembly, we'll also be talking about something I'm only going to mention here a little bit, but we'll talk about it more in depth at the assembly, and that is our goodbye or farewell Endwalker party event that we're going to have. For those that may have heard or have been in our community for a long time, it is an Azure tradition going all the way back to Heavensward, to hold a event that either happens during our Azure Day weekend, which there won't be for this one, or some kind of event that celebrates the current era expansion as it comes to a close, and maybe do some raffles, talk about our favorite parts, socialize. But we're definitely going to be meeting at a place relevant to the expansion because it's celebrating Endwalker and saying goodbye to this era. I know there will be people forever, from this point forward for a long time, that will be still experiencing Endwalker for the first time, even years from now. But we consider this, the Endwalker era until Dawn Trail launches. So since this era is coming to a close, as the previous ones did before, we'll be, like I said, we'll be picking an area. It's either probably going to be like something that is like usually like every expansion has one. Like there's like an end game town that will have like some area that is mostly empty most of the time, but looks like it could be really cool if a lot of people were there. So maybe what is it, like that Last Stand restaurant or whatever it was in Old Charleon, or maybe the place I can never pronounce this in Radzahan, Merudi's Mehanes or something like that. That's up in the north part of Radzahan. I probably butchered that.
Yeah, the bar.
Yeah, the bar. Yeah. Either of those locations would be perfect. Maybe we could even do some screenshots in both. Because the idea is to definitely do like a group shot to commemorate it, and a shot that actually kind of is like a RP like shot where everybody's like actually sitting at the tables and enjoying it and stuff, because you just don't get to see that sort of thing every day, and it's actually really cool to have something like that at least once. So I'll definitely like have that and more details of that, and then like I said, prizes and raffles will be part of
Raffles,
that.
hire a DJ. Yeah,
Oh
hire
yeah,
a
yeah.
DJ.
There we go. Yep. And that's everything that we got for this episode. Wow, we fit a lot of stuff in, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot to talk about.
We fit.
So many things coming out and everything.
Oh yeah, and it'd
Yeah.
be really easy for us to trail off on like any of those topics, but we kind of like kept everything kind of bite sized, so that was good.
And
What?
it's
What?
really
Keep talking about
unfortunate.
games and fade to black.
Was that
Yeah, it's really unfortunate we can't talk about that one game we were playing.
Well, technically we can. Just what's been released though.
Yeah.
You guys want to
But
mention
yeah.
that real quick, or?
Yeah. So we got into an alpha playtest for a game called Steel Hunters. It is a 2-player squad battle royale. So you go in with you and a partner, and it's under NDA, so there's not too much we can say. But you basically play as giant mechs that all have different special abilities, different guns, and it is a battle royale style game where you go in with two people, you gain loot, you fight each other, and then you extract, um, or you're the last squad standing. But Defensor and I sank so many hours in that game, and it was so. The
What was the
game,
name again?
it was called Steel Hunters,
Steel Hunters. Okay.
and they've got another playtest coming up. I think the 15th through the 17th that you can sign up for.
Yep.
And they're introducing another playtest after that with some more mechs, but it was so amazingly fun.
Wow.
Yeah, this next one is a. They're calling it a tournament, but they're also going to do a bunch of stress tests.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're experimenting with going into larger modes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, the games were 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you didn't feel like you were investing your entire life into one BR game.
Okay.
But
And
then 3 or 4 hours goes away real fast.
so fast, so fast. You would think in 5 to 10 minute increments, because like there was one day I was like, okay, I have to leave by 1:30. I'm like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. I'll play one game.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'd be like 1:06, and I'm like, okay, well I can get another one in. It's 1:15. I'm like, well, you know what? There's a time for another one. 1:22. I'm like, I could still get one. It's like, and it just keeps going like that. So
Not like Hell Let Loose, where you spend an hour and a half and it's still the same game.
yeah, it's an
You
hour.
guys,
Yeah.
still playing Helldivers?
No.
I haven't played it in a long time.
No.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. It didn't fall off so much as we're waiting for it to be more balanced and more fun. Like bring the fun back. Yep.
Where'd the fun go?
The fun went to bad
Out the window
weaponry.
with the balance patches.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they balanced the weapons, which just made it so difficult. Like the difficulty level shot up because the weapons got worse.
Okay. Well, that's
But
funny.
still a great game.
Just happened to look over at FC Chat in game, and someone just said "for democracy."
Yep. Yeah, we swapped from that to Hell Let Loose, which is like a World War II.
Yeah, I saw you guys playing that.
Yeah, it's a World War II sim basically, and it's like 50v50, like tanks, bombing runs, recon scout squads with snipers, infantry squads. It's great. Oh, it's amazing.
That morning, I popped in on your stream and checked it out, and that was actually my first time experiencing that game or seeing it.
So crazy. So
I
crazy.
might go back to it after this until Ghost Times.
Until Ghost Times.
Ghost Time.
Oh yeah, I've been increasing Defensor's game list, telling him he needs to play certain things, and he buys them, and then we play them. So his backlog that we've been talking about is increasing daily.
Oh my gosh.
I've added 6 games in the past week.
But see, that's the strategy. Is like you increase your backlog so that you're not bored while waiting for games like Star Wars Outlaws to get cheap. So
you don't get bored waiting for Monster Hunter Wilds to come out.
Yeah, that's the waiting on.
There you go. All right.
And for the 2
guys.
days where we can't Final Fantasy.
Yup. Oh, yep. Early maintenance for early access starts June 26th. Game will probably go down early in the morning or late at night on that day.
I think it's usually early in the morning,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It'll go down, and it's going to be a long wait, 48 hours. But I can wait 48 hours. I don't know about you guys. Probably get some extra sleep and something.
Let's just hope it's not a 6-hour login queue.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Yoshi has actually been really confident, like more than I'm used to seeing him be confident on how well that's going to go, because he said the new server should 100% have no problem with heavy loads of traffic, but we'll see. And there's always DDoS crap going on, so
always.
yeah, at least that happened like way ahead of time.
So the good part about
Yes.
this is that I'm taking my vacation from work from the 8th to the 14th. So after Dawn Trail full launch, like a week after full launch. So all those problems will hopefully be done by the time I get, a week off to play.
You go. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Alrighty, guys. Well, we had an awesome, packed episode with quite a lot to talk about. Summer Games Fest, State of Play, We got Xbox Showcase and PC Game Show tomorrow. Really looking forward to what comes out of that. Really hoping for some new Game Pass news, maybe some other stuff that might be Xbox related. Would really love to see them announce a new Xbox. Who knows if that's going to happen, though. I know that they talked about something being planned, but we'll see. Don't want to get started on another topic, though, so we got to wrap it up. But definitely want to thank everybody who was here live, as well as you guys, Defensor and Rack, as well as those in the future watching this on YouTube. Thank you guys for checking out Azure Infinitum podcasts, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.